are watching the #1 podcast in the whole entire YouTube wrestling community, and I'm your host, Juanzo.
And I'm your other host, Jean-Paul Lag.
Together we are
Row
Break. How's every single one of you, family? It is Friday night. It's time to talk about SmackDown. What an awful show! Oh my God, what happened with SmackDown? It seems to me that the new season, last week we had the premiere, all of that, and now the show feels really, really flat. Roman Reigns is still the only redeeming quality, the only thing that probably makes the show exciting, I guess, quote unquote. But we're gonna talk about everything, family. Thank you to every single one of you that is watching. Paul, SmackDown is going really downhill now.
Yeah, and I guess should we address something quick to talk about things going downhill and being awful? Let's address, yesterday was a Black Thursday or whatever, another big firing day. Bunch of people, so I'm the sole person who does the Keith Lee point now because he's fired. So now it's mine. I own it. Sorry, Keith Lee, but, since you're fired, this sucks. For these guys, for them, I'm sure personally, because growing up, they probably, I want to work for WWE. It's the biggest wrestling company. But realistically, all of them are talented, and they're going to get signed up by, anybody. Whether it's most of them probably AEW, some of them Impact, maybe some go to Japan. Maybe WWE even re-sign some of them. Whatever, maybe just restructure their deal, less money, whatever, who knows. But the only one, and some of them might even go to acting. Nia Jax, I could see acting. I don't see her being wrestlers. Eva Marie, Instagram model, whatever. But, I don't really feel bad for them financially or anything like that. I think they'll all be fine. So
yeah, no, I agree with you. Some of the names that we can see right here is Karrion Kross. We get to see Taya Valkyrie or Frankie Monet, Amber Moon, Nia Jax. A few of them, especially they say Scarlett Bordeaux and Karrion Kross, Nia Jax, and somebody else is because they're not vaccinated. So, because of their stance, WWE decided to cut the tie because, it's a contact sport. They don't want to get any type of heat, or they don't want to get
and I believe it's coming up. It's either sometime in December or early January. They're making it kind of a mandatory thing. And not to go too off topic, but, maybe that affects WWE too, where it's a mandatory thing, where it's like you said, it's a contact sport. You're in an arena filled with people. You have to have it. And it's and if you don't, sorry, we can't employ you.
That's pretty much how it is. You heard it from the man itself. That's how it's supposed to be. So, good luck to everybody. These guys, like you said, talented. They're gonna find work somewhere else. It sucks it sucks to just be fired.
The only thing I will say, for the biggest names, I don't know how you can have the talented Keith Lee, Karrion Kross with the combo of Scarlett and a Frankie Monet, or Taya Valkyrie. I don't know how you can have those four and fuck them up. That to the point where you cut them. I mean,
2 or 3 years of Triple H, it feels like nothing. I was watching.
See, Keith Lee, I'm sure is vaccinated. I don't think he seems like a kind of guy who would be vaccinated. Maybe like you said, if Frankie and Scarlett and them aren't, maybe that's why they fired him. But other than that, I mean, they should have been foolproof. I don't understand.
I was just watching today, remember the promo for Takeover for Karrion Kross and Keith Lee for the NXT Championship. Remember, it was Frantic from Metallica. It's how can you mess that up? How you can, even
the great.
How can you fuck that up?
What was it? The Great American Bash where he beat Adam Cole?
Yeah. Remember we did that. The winner takes all.
Double belt. How?
Yeah, and winner takes all. And now neither one of them are in WWE. It sucks, but like you said, the main thing is all these guys are talented enough to find work. Impact, New Japan, AEW is a big door right now. So it sucks to just be fired. But good luck to every single one of you. And once again, thank you. Just because, you guys do the best to entertain us.
Keith Lee is a guy who I think everybody knows how badass he is. That he could be a guy who, as he debuts in AEW, I think that the fans, they'll explode. They'll want to see this. They'll be push him to Omega, whatever. We want to see this guy in the title picture. So I think a lot of these guys will be fine.
Yes. And only just before we go to the show, Paul, Mia Yim didn't even have a match on the main roster. The last match that she had was on 2020 of last year, and that was on NXT. So, but again, good luck to every single one of them. NXT talent pool, 30 days clause. Main roster within the usual 90 days. WWE decides to do this. Hey, it's a company, they have to make money. It suffers for both ends, but we'll see who's the biggest loser at the end of the road when all of them go to other companies. Let's talk about really quick. This was a dark match, so this also kind of has implications, Paul, because imagine this is the dark match right now before SmackDown. Johnny Gargano against Kyle O'Reilly. Both of their contracts are expiring on December. So maybe there you go, 2 more guys that could be AEW bound.
Yeah, and I mean, you have Kyle O'Reilly in a tag team with Von Wagner. You could easily, we've seen people on TV and then be fired, B-Fab, and then she's not on TV tonight, so they don't care. It could be, now Von Wagner is by himself. So, yeah, and Gargano, he had to stare down with Ciampa. We said, that's cool. I guess they have until December to do it.
Maybe that was a send-off. That was a good fight for Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. But again, for the record, Johnny Gargano won the dark match. So let's talk about, and finally, thank you, family, for supporting us and all the love. And Roman Reigns and the Bloodline opened SmackDown. And, he was absent last week, so he's finally back, and they needed it. Because, this show is really, really sinking. I think that the draft is not helping him out at all. And, he says, hey, I leave for 1 week, but, everything goes to hell. Everything's crappy, everything's shitty, and he goes to, Jay, I think it's Jay, yes, I think it's Jay. He's like, you're the one that lost, right? You're the one that caused the problem, all of that. So,
no, it was Jimmy. It was Jimmy.
It was Jimmy, my bad, Paul. So, he's blaming him for, he's like, what are you going to do? You lost, so you fucked that up. How are you going to make it up? He's like, no, don't worry. I'm going to kick out Xavier Woods. We're going to have a match and all of that. And I hate this. Kicking Xavier Woods, whatever, this completely kills it for me. This is, this makes it a child's show. I want to change the channel after this shit.
Yeah, and the one thing, before I comment on that, I love this when he says to Heyman, he's like, wise man. What else? He's like, what happened last week?
Yeah.
Because he's just talking about how shitty SmackDown was because he wasn't there. He's like, he
didn't know what happened.
Yeah. He's like, you need me here for the show to be any good. Am I the only thing that makes this show relevant? All that. And he's like, wise man, what else happened? And he's like, oh, well, it was Kayla Braxton. She's the one who brought up Brock Lesnar. I didn't even want it. And he's like, wise man. He's like, what else happened? And he's like, oh, yes, the Usos lost. And it's like, so you see, it's like, what's the first thing that's on Heyman's mind?
Yeah, he knows
Brock Lesnar. So, they're still keeping the storyline alive for Brock Lesnar. Like we said, that's the heavily rumored WrestleMania match, Brock Lesnar. So, no, but then, like you said, King Woods comes out, and you said SmackDown felt really crappy the last, week or so, and you're looking at one of the main reasons why, and we'll get into the second main reason in a couple segments here, and this isn't any good. This is kind of Booker T light with the accent and the speaking proper, and Kofi is so over the top here.
Yeah.
Kofi's more Woods. If Woods was on his own and he turned heel, I could get behind that. I could say, okay, he's speaking proper, but he's heel. If he was cheating, hitting you in the scepter or hitting you in the nuts with his scepter, okay, I can get behind a heel Xavier Woods like that. But Kofi is so over the top, and they're baby faces, and I hate them, and I just can't get into it. I'm sorry.
I'd rather Sharmell 1,000 times. That's what I can tell you. Sharmell did such a much better job of, King Booker. So that's what it was, but this was just bad. And, he says, I'm never going to bow down to you. I'm never going to bow down to such a clown like you. And, the Usos, it seems like there's going to have, again, a storyline between, Bloodline and the New Day. So I just absolutely hate this. But this was the beginning of the show, so they're going to have a match.
And we know what this is setting up for. Because with the way the show ended and everything, Big E's going to come and defend his guys. He's the WWE champion.
And like you mentioned, this is going to be Survivor Series.
And Survivor Series is coming up. So this is the matchup. So this is all, but this is building to. So
and
we know we're in it for the long haul. We got, a whole month of this. So
this shit.
Strap in,
absolutely.
Everybody.
So, let's go with Kayla Braxton and Sonya Deville, because Sonya is still putting more obstacles in the road of Naomi. She says that she's going to have a match with Shayna Baszler. Hey, at least Shayna Baszler has a job right now. She has to feel happy about something, is the fact that she had a job. So she says that hey, we're gonna see what she's able to do and all of that. So during the match, Naomi wins. Naomi wins the first match, and she's happy. She's able to pin Shayna Baszler, but then right away, Sonya Deville comes on. It's like no. They was not clean. So they restart the match right away and all of that. And in the end, the Kira for a clutch, and then Naomi keeps falling short. Loses the match, and this, I think, maybe Survivor Series will be the final bout between Sonya Deville and Naomi. This is okay at most, but again, I don't know, the women's division seems lost. At least Shayna Baszler is getting some wins, but again, is that going to turn into a match against Charlotte? I don't think so.
That's the only thing. That's what I was just about to say, is I think Naomi needs to beat Sonya Deville, because Sonya is technically hasn't wrestled in how long? She's a manager. When do you think, even though Naomi hasn't wrestled in how long before this feud, it's when do you think Naomi would be the more experienced, the more in-ring shape, and the one to go over? And especially a babyface should win a feud because your champion is a heel. So that's what I would do. I would think Naomi wins and has a match against Charlotte. Maybe that's at a pay-per-view. And, they have a good Charlotte Charlotte and Shotzi had a good match last week. And I think, Charlotte and Naomi can have a good match. So I would have that on a pay-per-view. I wouldn't have no problem with it. I mean, if Charlotte's still here, coming to the next pay-per-view. Well, the next pay-per-view will probably be Becky and Charlotte, unless Bianca wins it. Then it's I don't know what they're gonna do.
Exactly. So like this could be a little different, but we'll see. But she needs challengers. I mean, also I think Tegan Knox is on Raw, so that she will not, and she has a job at least. Toni Storm is on SmackDown. Surprisingly, she's still has a job.
I mean, if they didn't turn Shotzi heel, I would have liked to see a feud between them because, like I said, they had a good match last week.
Yeah, no, it would have been good, but like we're gonna hear from Shotzi in a little bit. But here is like, hey, you see a little bit of tension here, Paul, bro. Like we're like Jimmy one more time. Like you see, remember how at the beginning he wasn't all down for this Bloodline storyline? Well, right now you see a little bit of maybe he's trying to like go back to that, or like he's not fully sure here, but he's like, I leave for a week and then you start fucking up, so make sure that like I don't have to fix your problems, or for you. I go get the job done and all of that. So Roman is still handling, like he's the boss and all of that. So your thoughts on this thing?
I mean, this is good. Roman, he's the only thing besides Lesnar, and Lesnar's not going to be on the show for a while. But he's really one of the only things on this show that's, legit. He's the one thing that when you watch it, you go, okay, if, I showed a group of friends who don't know, or care about wrestling, and they say, oh, like, let me see this wrestling you watch. You show them this segment, to go, man, that's pretty badass. I want to watch more. It's the stuff that you see with Xavier Woods, and we're going to see with, Baron Corbin and Madcap Moss. That's the stuff where it's like, you get laughed at for watching.
Yes. No, you're right.
Like, seriously, like, people, you feel embarrassed to watch this.
Absolutely. That's the worst thing that, and of course they have a job yet. I'm not saying that they should be fired, but there you go. Oh, yeah, you will put that right there, the title. Rich Holland, he is aiming Sheamus. So this is cool because like he said all the accolades that Sheamus is done and all of that. I like this because you can see that like he wants a feud with him and all of that, and the way that he talks, I think he's talking with a more thick accent. I think, and at least that's what I saw. But like really cool thing to start a feud with Sheamus. This is gonna be good for me, and hopefully Rich Holland goes over because they need brand new stars because they only have a few left now. So
he was kind of singing. I mean, he was really singing the praises of Sheamus, like, oh, back in Ireland, we all celebrated. It was badass, this, that, everything else. When he beat, when he won the Royal Rumble, when he beat John Cena, when he cashed in on Roman, going over all the accolades. And I'm like thinking, are they going to do a tag team, or is it going to be a feud? I think it's going to be a feud. I mean, these guys will beat the hell out of each other. So this will be a good match. I'm really looking forward to it if that's how they do it.
Yes, exactly. So it's gonna be good. Like it's gonna be a first good feud for like Rich Holland. So we'll see, and then Sheamus. Hopefully he can elevate Rich Holland to a different standard. So let's hear it from Shotzi. Remember, like last week she attacked Sasha Banks. So here, Paul, they completely switched the whole thing. Because remember, like she was all babyface, now heel, and she mentions during the promo that she's not, she doesn't need a tank anymore. So we probably, like this new version of Shotzi will not be coming out in the tank. She said that like she lost her friend, she lost like a most important match with Charlotte, all of that. So is because of Sasha. So she's aiming her, and she's gonna make her life a living hell, which is good. I mean, I think that this is going to be a good match, especially because Shotzi is a good wrestler, and then Sasha can elevate her to like that main event status. So it's good. I don't mind this at all. It's a good opportunity for her because now she's separated for Tegan also.
Yeah, I mean, this is good if Shotzi goes over in this feud against Sasha, because I think you just turned her heel. So like you want to solidify that heel turn, or any turn you want to solidify with that following feud, with a win. But, I mean, I like everything she said. They took all this shit from me. It's bullshit. I don't need the tank anymore. I'm going to do things my own way. And, this is good. And I like the attitude. So, we got to just see what they do from here. It's the same thing with Naomi. It's like, what are you going to do following this feud? Are you going to do anything? Or is you going to,
exactly,
win this and then just...
You're good at introducing things. But when it comes to evolve them, when it comes to, like, see what it turns out to, will always fall short. So that's the thing. Let's talk about really quick, like the Lotarios. They have a brand new name, and that's Humberto Carrillo and Angel Garza. So are you surprised that they still kept the job? I don't know what they did behind the scenes, but at least
when I saw these guys come out, I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I should keep a mental note. Be like, is this the last time I'll see them on WWE television?
It could be. But
I feel like it is.
they have the match with Mansoor and Cesaro, and at least Cesaro has a job also. I guess that's going to be everybody's excuse now.
He's another one too. I thought, I'm like, you know what? I could easily see him. They could be like, Cesaro, thank you, but goodbye.
Consolation prize, you have a job, so be thankful for that. But in the end, of course, like the brand new group, the Lotarios, the brand new tag team, all Latino, I think they're trying to push that agenda here. Like they get the win, and of course Cesaro gets pinned. Can you at least pin Mansoor? I'm just saying. And of course, you see this picture, it seems a little bit, if you guys could get behind this, if they can keep winning matches, if they present it better, hopefully that's what they do with these guys. But I think that if this fails, then they're just gonna like end up being fired also. I don't see them like having another transformation. So we'll see what happens, but at the expense of Cesaro.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't get into this makeshift tag team, Mansoor, Cesaro, and in the middle of this match, you cut to Ali, and he's like, yes, I have interest in this match because we used to be partners with Mansoor, and it's like, this is so stupid. You know what I mean? I'm like, I mean, it's mid.
It is not good. It's not good.
It's just not good.
Bad. It's bad, exactly. So, moving on, we get to see Jeff Hardy, and he was talking to Kayla, and you see Aaliyah. Look at Aaliyah. I mean, what can you say bad about the girl? She's
no wonder Jeff Hardy was like following her around and looking at me. Jeff, I don't know if he's married. I think he has. I know he has kids. I don't know if he's married.
No, he's married. Jeff Hardy.
Yeah, well then Jeff, okay,
but he won't many more if he keeps like chasing after women like this. So yeah, I don't think that he will be like that, but like he's trying to like lead Aaliyah and welcome her to SmackDown. Sami Zayn also does the same thing. Both of them are married, so we'll see which one gets the girl. But other than that, I mean, like I think Sami Zayn was over the top because that's his character, and Aaliyah's like, is that how he always is? And he goes like, so yeah, that's how he always is. No, I mean, nothing really of much importance, but at least something to be featured for Aaliyah. She needs to have matches. I still have faith. She's a good wrestler. She was good on NXT, whatever she was able to do, she did fine. So now let's go remember, this is going to be the main event. Who will bend the knee? Would it be King Woods? Would it be, Jimmy? We'll see what happens. But now let's go with, Drew McIntyre's open challenge poll. Ricochet answers. He kind of says, I'm going to slap you in the face. And you know that, anybody that's going to go against Drew McIntyre, if you're not Roman Reigns, you're going to end up being Claimer in 1, 2, 3. Did you like the match? Anything to say in regards to this segment?
The only thing I'll say about this, if this was on a good show, like let's say, you get a good Roman Reigns segment, maybe you get like a good, women's match. You saw like the Charlotte Flair Shotzi, or even, what we saw with the Shotzi promo and stuff. It's like, maybe if we just saw really good stuff and not stupid King Woods and not, this tag match, this thing with Drew would feel all right. Like, okay, you know what, Drew, they're just giving him wins. They're just feeding him guys, giving him wins, keeping him warm until they're going to push him in the title picture again. But when it's on a show surrounded by crap, I'm just like, I just zone out. I'm like, I don't care. I mean, good match. Ricochet, he bounces all over the place like a Super Bowl. He can sell like crazy. He makes Drew look like a monster.
Even like the Claymore kick,
I mean, was amazing. The match, it was great. But like I said, when it's on a show surrounded by all this other crap, you just kind of lose it, unfortunately.
Yeah, you throw a lot of shade. And it's really difficult to shine when you have that much darkness around you. It's very difficult. So we'll see what happens. But Drew in the end gets the win, and hopefully he gets also like another meaningful feud, another important feud, because aside of that, what can you do with Drew? That's the problem. Like, you need to put him with Roman right away, and
the only thing, Drew would be a perfect guy to be like, you know what, put the Intercontinental Championship on him, let him legitimize that belt again. But it's in such a garbage place, and I hate to say that about Nakamura, but it's in, such a garbage place, him and, Baron Corbin. It's like, I don't want Drew to touch it because that will drag Drew down.
It's going to put him, it's going to drag him into like a hole full of dirt. You're right. Absolutely right. So we don't want to see that. So let's go to another, like you said, another cringy promo by King Woods, and also of course, Xavier, and of course, Kofi. I don't like this. Like you said, this is just terrible. And we go from shitty to extremely shitty, and that's because Happy Corbin is gonna have the Viking Raiders. He has a show now. Happy Top. There you go. Of course, they have to have this shitty stuff. Let's mention really quick. They had a promo of Xia Li coming soon. How long is that gonna last for? How long is it gonna be good for Xia?
And again, we say this as a joke, but again, not really. It's like she's another one. It's like, oh, I'm surprised she's still on the show. And I like Xia Li, so hopefully they push her. And I mean, it's new faces. And again, you're adding there's a bunch of women. I know you cut a couple good ones, like we said, Frankie, that's a head scratcher, but maybe the vaccine thing, I don't know. Morrison's probably next, but this is something where it's like you're adding a lot of new faces to the women's division, so that's something we wanted. So I won't complain.
Yeah, exactly. No. Hopefully, like they stick with it. It's again Tony Storm, stay with it. Just have them on the show, because if you don't,
and especially like we're seeing Liv Morgan feud with Becky Lynch on Raw,
that's good. That's good. Exactly. Give new women chances. That's better. Exactly. So like you said, like before we go to Happy, you get to see Ali talking to Ricochet, trying to, I guess, recruit him. All of that. They had a feud before. This is just another Monday Night Raw shit. Now nobody wants to see that, and who wants to see this either? The Viking Raiders looking like that. You don't really want to put all your like ring attire to do this shit. I don't think so. They have like, oh, you guys suck.
That's because they knew this was leading to a match. And again, nobody cares about this.
No, and and in the end, turns out to be that like actually the Viking Raiders wins, but like for like count out. So this sucks.
So this is gonna continue the feud. And I mean, if this is leading to the Usos versus the Viking Raiders or something. I mean, I really, to beat these two losers to earn a title shot, to me, I don't think is deserving. But I mean, this is a feud. You want to get the Viking Raiders over again, because they had a long title reign on Raw, but they weren't that legit. You bring them over here, okay, let's get them over. And this is the first feud, not the right way to do it.
No, man, like you said, in this show,
Corbin is the other reason that when you watch this show, you feel embarrassed that you're watching it. And, it's one of those things where it's like, if you could pick somebody to be fired, I'd be like, please get rid of him. But
but
I don't hate the guy.
It's not that like we're mean about it. It's just like out of in the level of like how they perform with the story.
Or how about this? How about this? You fire the guy who writes the bullshit that for Corbin to do, because you can't blame Corbin. He's told. He's the one told to do it. So
to do that shit, exactly, absolutely, I agree with you. So it's not good. So like let's go with like Sami Zayn trying to like have a segment with, of course, like Hit Row. They lost Feebav and all of that, so like they were probably pissed. I think you have to be pissed if they bring you up like with your girl.
They're probably just thinking it's like, hey, how long do you think we last?
Yeah, how long till we're next? Exactly. So Sami Zayn is trying,
Vince is Goldberg.
Yeah, exactly.
Like,
who's next? No, I agree with you. I absolutely agree with you. So Sammy's talking to them, all of that, and then like they come out and they make fun of him. On Top Dollar, all of that Ashanti, like they said that he's injured, that's why he's not actually wrestling. And Isaiah Swerve Scott, so like they pretty much, like they make fun of Sammy, all of this shit, and like this is bad. And then, hey, they're trying to like do the hit, bro, all of this stuff, but in the end, Sammy's like, oh, this is bullshit, and they leave. And in the end, you got to see the three guys like doing the salute, all of that. I mean, are they going to be able to go over? My main thing is, like you said, for how long? How long till these guys are like fired? Because like they didn't have a thing with like feedback, and so like how long for these guys to be either split up or fired? That's the one thing.
And you can already tell like the one that they're pushing the most is Top Dollar, because Sami Zayn is like, oh, Top Dollar, you could be a pillar here on SmackDown, and Isaiah Swerve Scott and Ashanti stand there like, oh, what are we, just chopped liver? Like, what are we, pieces of shit? Okay, but I mean, no, again, this is another segment I don't care about.
Neither, exactly.
I mean, it's all right. It is what it is.
It is what it is. So like, let's move on to like, Roman says like, are you gonna take care of this? Jean Paul, are you gonna take care of this, or like, what the fuck do I need to go and fight your battles for you?
Because he's like, oh, Roman, are you gonna come? Are you gonna be ringside at my match? He's like, do I really need to fucking solve all your problems for you? And he's like, so
it's you.
I mean, that was badass, because he's like, no, I'm not gonna be at ringside. Be a grown man and handle it yourself.
And yeah, exactly. You're part of the bloodline. You're part of the group. You take care of it and show us that you're worthy to be in the group. But I mean, he has the match with Xavier. Yeah, we've seen this so many times. So what can they do different for me to care? Maybe like a fuck finish like they were doing with the Mysterious. Same stuff, but the referee also like sees that. Hey, there you go. Why subscribe to rope break? He's right there pointing out.
There's the rope break. Yep.
Yes, exactly. It's the rope break. So in the end, we get to see Xavier getting the win. This absolutely again sucks that they actually put in the
because it was just like roll up attempts, roll up. He got him 1, 2, 3, and I mean, was the match good? Yeah. No. Match quality, I thought it was good.
Decent, at most.
I mean, I think they have a lot of chemistry. I think, a 6-way match with, these guys will be really good. I think they'll put on a great match at a pay-per-view or something. But I mean, for Woods to win again, I just don't like the character of the New Day is for me is so unbearable. I don't want to see it. It just
No, you're right.
it don't matter how good they are in the match because as soon as the bell rings and they grab a microphone, to me it's over.
Oh, exactly. But at least the main thing that like they wanted to do with this is like in the end, he was about to bow down, like Jimmy was about to bow down to Xavier, and then Roman came out, and Roman starts beating the crap out of Kofi and also Xavier.
Yep.
So like you see at the end, this is good. It's like because I'm gonna show you what a true king is. And Roman with the Universal Championship, and that's how you're supposed to be. So I like this because this is how Roman Reigns at least says, I'm the king here, tribal chief, head of the table, all of that. And in the end, we get to see them standing tall, and the New Day absolutely destroyed, which I love because these guys need to be split up in order for me to actually care about what they have to do or say.
And I would say, maybe after Survivor Series, after this feud, because next we're probably going to hear something on Raw, and if we don't, I'm sure he's going to show up on SmackDown. We're going to see something with Big E. We said this is leading to Survivor Series. Maybe after that, you split them up, but they won't. See, WWE, they'll never split them up. It's like turning John Cena heel. They're like, we'll never do it. We'll never do it, because they don't care. They'll split them up on different brands, but they're still a group.
Exactly. So they need to do that.
But I do like this attack. I do like Roman standing tall, and the good. At least he's the last thing we see of when the show goes off the air.
Exactly. So this is how it is, and family, this is how sums up SmackDown. So we hope that we did a very great job for every single one of you. Don't forget, the only thing we ask, subscribe to the channel, also put the video, give it a like, and also, just here to just follow us on the rest of the social media waves that we have. John Paul's going to tell you every single one of them in just a little bit, but remember, hey, take care of yourselves and have a great weekend, and we'll be back for more next week. Paul, tell us, where else can we
guys, so you don't miss anything from Rope Break, follow us on all of our social media, and that's Rope Break on Facebook, the OG Rope Break on Twitter, Original Rope Break on Instagram, Twitch, and TikTok, and of course right here on YouTube, the home of the #1 podcast in the YouTube wrestling community, the Original Rope Break.
And you and me have one more thing that is left to say, and that is...